Hello everyone and welcome to this week's this installment of the Sandwich House Defense Treatise by Grandmaster Ronghua. This will be the third board in chapter 9. Now without further ado, central cannon, pale corner cannon. In chapter 9, this was the position that was discussed. Black would push p7 plus 1 before developing his horse, as was seen in the earlier chapters. The main idea was to prevent red from playing the p3 plus 1 variations and also uh, allow his horse to have more choices of development early in the game. Now in the first board, p5 plus 1 was played. In the second board, r2 plus 8 was played. So please refer to the earlier two videos. In the third board, red will counter with h8 plus 9 for the edge horse. Now, playing the edge horse at this point in time would have its advantages. Red would keep his options for the further development of this left cannon open. So this cannon can be played c8 equals to 7 or c8 equals to 6. If it were played to c8 equals to 7, it would attack the black horse in the same file, and this would be the 5-7 cannons. If c8 equals to 6 were played, it would be the 5-6 cannons, which is another popular red counter or red variation in this opening system. Now, black will continue with h8 plus 7, and red in the book c8 equals to 7 was discussed. The 5-7 cannons was discussed. Now, since red had given up control of this file with the cannon, black would choose to play r1 equals to 2. This will be the first main variation of discussion. The other variation was h7 plus 6, whereby black would choose to develop his horse early in the game. So in the first variation, r1 equals to 2 was played. Red would continue to develop his chariot as a file chariot in the book. And black would play proactively by trying to form a blockade with c2 plus 4. With the cannon at this point, this position, the cannon would now threaten to capture the central pawn and allow and compress the space that these three red pieces can move at this point in time. As the left flank was slightly congested, one commonly used tactic for red would be to play r2 plus 4. Now, the reason or one of the strategies behind playing r2 plus 4 was that red would be prepared to play p9 plus 1 and h9 plus 8 so that the cannon would be trapped and the red chariot would capture the black cannon. So at this point in time, r9 equals to 8 was given as black tried to dislodge the red chariot from the riverbank rank. If an exchange took place, red could not advance his edge pawn and carry out the tactic that was mentioned just now. So one might wonder if h7 plus 6 was viable at this point in time. The answer would be no, because red would push p9 plus 1 and be prepared to advance his horse to the riverbank rank as planned. And the effects or the effectiveness of black's right cannon blockade would be greatly diminished. Red would have an easy time ahead. So that is why h7 plus 6 at this point in time was not a good idea, even though black would be able to control parts of the center of the board with this combination. So r9 equals to 8 to try to dislodge the red chariot. Now, of course, red would not want to trade chariots, or he would not be able to play p9 plus 1, so he would move his chariot to the rib file and threaten the black cannon. And this would also diminish whatever possible effects that the black pale corner cannon might have. Protection is usually done with a4 plus 5, and red will continue with p9 plus 1 as planned. And since the red horse was prepared to move to the riverbank, black would usually retreat his cannon at this point, so that the red horse cannot move to the riverbank now, or the black cannon would simply capture the red chariot, and black would have a significant advantage. Now, since the black cannon had retreated, in the book, red would advance his left chariot to the riverbank rank. Now, there are several advantages to this. One, both the red chariots will now be linked, and red would have gained some space for the development of his left flank. The chariot at this position would also be protected by the horse, so that would discourage black from trying to trade material by moving his cannon away using the clearance tactic, because if it moved away, red would simply counter as needed and not have to worry about this chariot being captured, because it was protected by the horse. So black will usually adopt a defensive stance and consolidate his central file with e7 plus 5. Now at this point, red will continue to attack the 7th file by advancing his pawn, and black would try to trade chariots. Now at this point in time, the black cannon was threatening to capture the red chariot, and the red chariot cannot capture the black cannon, or the horse would simply capture it, and there will be also a offer of an exchange of chariots. So what should red do at this point? r4 equals to 6 to move the chariot to another rib file to control this open file was the suggested move. Now, what would happen if red decided to capture the red chariot and trade chariots instead? Okay, and it will basically not make much of a difference, because the situation shown here, or the position shown here, would actually transposition back to the main line. Okay, so r4 equals to 6, and as can be seen, this would be the position that was shown in the variation just now. Now at this point in time, it would be a rather equal situation for both players. So black can be satisfied with this position or this situation, and the battle will be carried out in the mid game. But both players would have a roughly equal situation. So this will be the first variation. A short recap. In the third board, c8 equals to 7 was played, and in the first variation, r1 equals to black would develop his right chariot as a foul chariot. Now for the second variation, before the red chariot had moved to the riverbank rank, black would decide to play h7 plus 6 to command the center of the board. Now, doing so has its advantages, but if compared to the previous variation, since black had not moved or developed his right chariot, this file would basically be red's to control. So red would develop his chariot and threaten the black cannon in the same file. Now, when red had moved the chariot in this manner, black cannot move either one of the elephants to the central file, or the black cannon will be caught. So what should black do at this point in time? The suggested move would be c2 equals to 1. Now, this would be one of the main variations, and this would lead to another turning point in the game. Now one might wonder, would r1 equals to 2 be a viable option? We'll see. Now red will continue with r2 plus 4, e3 plus 5, and as can be seen, because red will now have advanced his chariot across the river, black's right flank would now be congested and compressed, and the amount of space that can be moved would be greatly decreased. So red would be considered to have the advantage at this point in time. Red could continue to play p9+1 to develop his horse, etc., etc. So that is why r1 equals to 2 was not a good idea, and instead c2 equals to 1 was advocated, whereby black would still keep his options of developing his right chariot as a file chariot or a rank chariot as needed. Now at this position, as mentioned before, this was another major turning point in this opening system. Now at this point in time, red could develop his left chariot with r8+4, or he could also consider r2+4. So these two variations or sub-variations were the two major lines of play that would have significantly different results. In the first sub-variation, or variation 2a, as I would name it, as you can see also in the interactive board on my website, r8+4 was played. Now, since red had already commanded the riverbank rank, black would decide to develop his left chariot with r9+1. So the black chariot would be prepared to play r9 equals to 4. Red cannot try to command this line before black because this intersection was covered by the black horse. So usually red would try to attack with r2+6, preparing for fork, threatening the red file. Red will play r9 equals to 4 as planned, a prophylactic move by red to discourage black from playing r4+6, and black would do the same thing to protect his pale corner cannon. So as can be seen, most of the pieces were now concentrated on the left side of the board. Now at this point in time, it was advocated that red play p9+1. Now it would not be a good idea to try to trade pawns with p3+1, although red would try to develop his right horse at this point in time. Now this would not be a good move because by capturing the pawn, the black horse would now threaten to capture the red chariot, forcing the red chariot to move, and black could offer another exchange of material with r4+4. With r4+4, red would be placed in a dilemma because if he did not accept the trade, the black chariot would now be protecting the pawn, and the horse will still be able to move to wherever it needs to be for attack. So in the book, r8+2 was given, and as can be seen, black would have seized the initiative. Now if red decided to capture the let's say red decided to capture the black chariot or trade chariots, as can be seen, the black horse will now be attacking the cannon, and also the black pawn would just only need one move just to advance one move, and the red horse would be in trouble. So black would have seized the initiative and commanded a significant advantage at this point in time. So a short recap, p3+1 would not be a good idea at this point in time, and instead red should play p9+1 for a few reasons. One of them would be to give protection to this chariot. The second reason would be to prevent or discourage the black cannon on the edge file to capture the edge pawn, whereby it could threaten the central pawn or make mischief along this flank. So if p9+1 was played, red would still try to trade chariots, and red would simply refuse to trade chariots in this manner because the black horse would now be unable to cross the river. Trade, and at this point in time, it will still be a rather even game, but black can be very satisfied with this position because first of all, his central file was now consolidated. There was space or room for development of the right chariot with R9 equals to 8 or R9 equals to 6 as needed. And the black horse was now, one of the black horse was now at the riverbank rank. And in comparison, red's horses were still relatively undeveloped, and one of the biggest issues, as mentioned earlier in the videos, would be the development of red's right horse. So overall, red can be very satisfied with this outcome. Sorry, it would be an even game, but black can be very satisfied with this position. So a short recap. C8 equals to 7 was the main variation, and in the second variation, red would push his horse to the riverbank rank before red had played R2 plus 4. And this was the first variation at this point in time, whereby red would play R8 plus 4. If red chose to develop his right chariot to the riverbank rank instead of the right chariot, it will lead to a much more complicated situation. Black would play E3 plus 5 and not E7 plus 5 because the chariot could now develop as a kingside chariot with A4 plus 5 later. If E7 plus 5 were played, the development of the right chariot would be a major concern for black. And again, P9 plus 1 was played, which is critical in this position. And black would try to develop his left chariot. Protection, a prophylactic move. And the black chariot would cross the palace and apply pressure on red's left flank. Now, at this point in time, it was advised that red play R8 plus 4. Now, moving both chariots to the riverbank might seem overly cautious because it would seem to be unnecessary since there was already one chariot on the riverbank rank. But in this situation, it would be necessary to do so. Now, C5 equals to 6 was also discussed, but it was not a good choice because, again, one of the major strategies or plans that black would have in this position would be to trade chariots at this point, and again, red would be placed in a dilemma. If the chariots were traded, red would gain momentum by charging his horse across the river and attacking the black cannon immediately, and black would have a significant advantage. Black can be very satisfied with this outcome. So that is why, to prevent black from playing R6 plus 4, it was advocated that red play R8 plus 4 before black can try to trade or exchange chariots. Okay, A4 plus 5 as a prophylactic move, and since both chariots were now on the riverbank rank, red would decide to push his third pawn forward to trade pawns. Now, this would allow for development of his right horse, which was a major issue. Now, C5 equals to 6 to try to target the black chariot and adjust the defensive formation was still not advised because, black could simply offer a trade of chariots, and after trading chariots, as can be seen, there will not be much that red can do at this point. So C5 equals to 6 was not a good idea. P3 plus 1 to develop the right chariot would be viable at this point. And since P3 plus 1 was played, black could take the opportunity to advance his horse across the river, because now there was only one chariot threatening the horse because the pawn was pushed. So what should red do? Now at this point in time, black should play c7 equals to 6 to target the black chariot. Now, retreating the cannon was not a good idea because would not be a good idea because black could continue to trade, offer an exchange of chariots, thus removing perhaps the most powerful defender in red's left flank. A check, trading material, and although the red pawn had crossed the river, black would be able to play c1 plus 3. Now this would attack the red chariot, forcing it to be dislodged, and now at the expense of one pawn, black would have pushed 2 pieces across the river, and black would have seized the initiative. Now the pawn would be placed in a dilemma. If it advanced, black could play r4 equals to 7, etc., and there would be many options for black to continue attacking. So black would have seized the opportunity or the initiative at this point in time. So when the black horse was threatening to capture the red cannon, c7 equals to 6 was suggested or advised. And black would continue to make advances by charging his horse to this position, whereby the red horse would now not only be attacking the red chariot, it would also threaten to go for the elbow horse check or elbow horse attack. Now, instead of this would be a very proactive move, but sometimes one might wonder, would charging just a lone piece across the riverbank be a good idea? Now in this situation, h4 plus 6 would have been better than capturing the central cannon with h4 plus 5, because the black horse had used up 1, 2, 3, 4 moves just to trade away for red's central cannon, which has only made, just moved one, which has only just made one move. Now this would be a loss of initiative on black's part, and as can be seen, it would be an even situation, but both the red chariots would have commanded the riverbank rank, and the development of the red horse would be okay. So this would be an even situation, but the threat of the black horse would be negated, and both players can be satisfied with the situation. So that is why h4 plus 6 would have been better than capturing the central cannon. So red will be forced to retreat his chariot to prevent the elbow horse attack, and black would keep piling on pressure and offer to trade chariots. Now it will not be a good idea to trade chariots, and at this point in time, although the black horse was under attack, black would be prepared to play very proactively with this move. Now it would seem that red would be about to lose material, but in actual fact, by making this move, if red captured the black horse, the black chariot could avenge it by capturing the red cannon, and it would be a trade-off of material if red decided to capture the black chariot. And I'll show you. Now at this point in time, we can see that red's formation was in disarray, and black was prepared to play r8 equals to 7, etc., and black would have a significant advantage because it would take red a few more moves just to try to get his defensive formation or this defense working again. So at this point in time, r2 plus 8 would be a very powerful tactic or powerful move by black. Now both colors would have their scruples, but generally speaking, as black, this outcome would be desirable, and desirable and playable for black. So this is why it will be hard for red to gain much with c8 equals to 7 as this variation. And in comparison, sorry, we'll go back a little bit. As mentioned before, when red played c8 equals to 7 for the 5-7 cannons, one of the biggest issues in this opening system would be the ability of the black horse to get to the riverbank. If it were able to get to the riverbank, as seen in variation 1, r1 equals 2 was played, but in variation 2, h7 plus 6 was played. If the black horse were able to get to the riverbank rank with the cannon behind it, usually black would have a better time ahead. So this is one major, very important concept to understand in the sandwich house defense. So I hope you have enjoyed today's short video, and I've been trying to make more videos to explain the concepts in a more clearer manner, so that beginners will be able to understand certain concepts better. I hope you like my work, and if you find my work okay, and please subscribe to give me some encouragement. Thank you.